home, and I'm a student athlete, so that's why like I wanted to make this type of video. Before I get started, I just wanted to say that I'm not excluding anyone in this video. I just chose to talk about athletes in general because I'm a student athlete and it's like from my point of view. So I just want to throw that out there. Everybody's mental health matters. I just, want to talk about how it relates to my life. So just want to throw that out there. Also, I wanted to just say thank you for anybody who's watching this video. Like, the fact that you even want to like listen to what I have to say is, cool. Not cool, but I really appreciate it, for real. Let's get into the video. As I like started to look into it more, I noticed different mental health advocates like Brandon Marshall. I was really like interested in his story. It was really inspiring, and there's certain athletes that make it out of what they're going through, like him, but there's also athletes who don't. I was reading or watching videos on Tyler Helinski, and he was a former quarterback of Washington State, and he unfortunately committed suicide. And I just kind of wanted to make this video for anybody who's like suffering in silence. Like, I just want you to know that you're not alone. There are other people out there, other athletes out there who are suffering as well. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to get help. Like, your life is very important and you belong on this earth and you have a purpose, and I just want everybody to know that, because life can get crazy sometimes, things can get tough, but there's always a rainbow after a storm. So just remember that it's always better on the other end, and there's always a reason to keep going. The main purpose is just to bring awareness to mental health in athletics, because I just feel like it's something that's not talked about a lot. I mean, yes, it's mentioned, but it's not like, it's like the elephant in the room. Like, nobody really wants to like address it. So I just wanted to bring awareness, and I also wanted to give like maybe coaches or like parents, even other athletes, some tips on how to deal with mental health, because some people go about it wrong. I don't know, I just want to give some tips that I feel like would make a difference. The only thing I want out of this video is to at least help one person. Like, if I can help one person just by like educating them on something they didn't know, or just helping somebody feel better about what they're going through, then I'm satisfied. Like, that's just what this video is for. Hopefully you can get something out of this video. So let me just start off with talking about mental health. Just like we all have physical health, we all have mental health, and I feel like a lot of people just disregard that. Like, when you think of mental health, I feel like people go straight to thinking of like mental illness, and it's like your mental health has to be bad in order to lead to having a mental illness. Just how if we ignore when something is physically wrong with us, and we can become weaker and more prone to illness, if you ignore your mental health, it can lead to having a mental illness. And when we ignore our mental health, our moods can fluctuate, and our views on life in the world can change and become negative. Mental illness is like a hidden epidemic in the world. So when it comes to athletics, let's get into that. Okay, me personally, I feel like mental health in the athletic world is overlooked. A lot of people see athletes and I feel like they forget that we're 100% human, just like them. Society always talks about how athletes are put on a pedestal and we get this and we get that. I'm not saying like it's totally wrong, but there's stuff that comes along with those things. Like, we aren't given the same space as the normal person. Like, Everybody always talks about how we get this type of treatment, that type of treatment, we get this, we get that, but I feel like they don't see the things that we also sacrifice in order to like be an athlete. They don't see the waking up at 6 a.m. and going to practice and not getting back home or not finishing your day till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock until dinner time. They don't see how we have to miss holidays with our families because we have events or we have practice or we have this and that. Our social time is limited. We have to work around our schedules. You know, weekends, sometimes we have games, tournaments, you know, track meets, so like we squeeze our social time in. And a lot of people may say, oh well, that's what you signed up for, blase blase. You're totally right. We all know what we were getting ourselves into when we, you know, well, some people just got thrown into it. Let's say that. We're just not given enough space mentally to really, you know, make sure our mental health is great. I'm not complaining about being a student athlete at all, but I just feel like our mental health matters too. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, with everything that's thrown at us, especially like all that stuff on top of life, it can get overwhelming sometimes, and I feel like a lot of us forget to like check in mentally so we don't go crazy. Whenever an athlete is like suffering mentally, I feel like they don't really want to reach out for help just because of the stigma. You know, having mental problems is often looked at as weak, or, you know, people just look at you different. A lot of people don't want to have to like go through that, people looking at them differently and just like people treating them different, you know, like stuff like that. And oftentimes when athletes speak up about it, they're often told that they just need to be mentally strong, they just need to shake it off. They're told they need to win at all costs, like, you know, just basically put it to the side because you have stuff to do when it comes to your sport. Basically, things that lead to like athletes having I'm not gonna say a mental illness, just like bad mental health. I feel like a lot of us grew up like doing the sport that we do. I'm like in college, so I'm just gonna speak on like going all the way up from like when I was younger to now. A lot of like kids grew up doing their sport. Like, it's a big part of their identity. So I feel like me personally, there's always been like a pressure to always do good, always perform great. Like, there's just always this pressure on you, like no room for failure. Like, so I feel like that's a big thing, like not just for me but for other athletes. Like, we always, of course, everybody always wants to win, everybody always wants to like do their best, and that can definitely take a toll on your mental health. Some other things are past traumas. Everybody's going through life, everybody has different things happening in their life. You've had previous stuff. You could still have trauma from past events that, you know, you necessarily didn't heal, and it can affect, you know, your mental health. One of the biggest things in athletics that takes a toll on mental health is injuries. I know a lot of people, like I said, their identity is like connected to the sport they play, so when they're not playing, they just don't feel like themselves. I don't know, I feel like, I don't want to say you have to be an athlete to understand, but like, injuries really take a toll on people. Nobody wants to sit on the sidelines or like on the side watching when everybody else is playing and they're like hurt. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it definitely does take a toll on your mental health. Just like I said, past traumas, but personal life issues can affect your mental health as well, because even though we're athletes, we still like live our normal lives too as well, so other stuff on the outside can definitely affect you. I just want to like say some signs that might, I'm not trying to say like if somebody's doing these things that, oh, their mental health is bad and da da da. I'm just saying like these are some like things to look out for if somebody's like constantly doing them, or like, you know, I don't know, I'm just speaking based off of like what I've seen or like experienced. One is sleeping too much or sleeping too little. I know that comes along with like anxiety and depression, insomnia, or like, you know, sleeping too much. That's definitely one. Shortness in temper, that's a sign to look. Not like, some people just have bad tempers, but like you can tell like when somebody's more snappy. Constant distance or isolation. I know a lot of people, like when they're going through things, they don't like to be around other people, or they like tend to like want to just be by themselves. And that goes with like the last thing is like moping around, like just seeming out of it, not really wanting to be there, and you know, just very down in spirit. Those are just some things to like look at. Like if you know somebody on your team is like doing those things, like it just be good to like, you know, check in, check up on them, you know. So these are some tips for like parents, coaches, other athletes. Number one is try not to like come off insensitive or be like, oh, there's other people out there in the world that have it worse than you, because that just makes it seem like you're saying like what they're feeling is invalid. There's obviously always going to be somebody out there who has it worse than you, but I know like some people just try to say that to make you like feel better, look at it from a different point of view, but I just feel like it's just kind of insensitive, and like it just makes them feel like you're just saying, shut up, you're crying and there's other people out there. Like it's basically just like dismissing their feelings. So try not to, you know, be insensitive. Two is like the same thing, like don't try to downplay their emotions. Like if they're trying to be vulnerable enough to share like what's going on with them, just try to listen and actually like, if you don't have much to say, just like listen and just try to like be there, be present in the moment, and be like comforting to them, if that makes sense. Three, if you're the person like going through some things, or even like the other person who's just listening to them, saying affirmations they really do help. Maybe like give them some affirmations to say, or even just like say some to them. Like it could definitely help them, and like just, you know, oh, this is for like, oh, well, this is for everybody actually, but try to learn their triggers. I'm not saying like you could even ask them as well if they even know, but like just trying to like not study them, but you know, if you say something or do something and it kind of like shakes them a little bit or something like that, just like note that in your head, and to not like, you know, do the same thing or like say the same thing, because a lot of people have triggers and some people aren't even aware of their triggers, you know, but if you pay attention close enough, you'll start to see. But yeah, also something to like know is just because somebody's like having good days doesn't mean like they're suddenly better. If they're suffering from a mental illness, of course like they're gonna have their bad days, they're gonna have their good days, but just because they have their good days, don't just assume like, oh, they're faking or blase blase. Like no, just like everybody else, everybody has their good days, everybody has their bad days. Like, you know, you just, some stuff just happens. Like life is freaking life. Understand that every mental health disorder has their like own set of behaviors and different symptoms. Just because somebody suffers from the same thing doesn't mean like they're gonna have the same exact symptoms or do the same exact things. You know, everybody's different, so it's not gonna be the same. If you are the person who is suffering from a mental illness, or you know, your mental health just isn't good, I just want to give you some tips to that might help you. You know, I've been doing some of these things, so I just wanted to, you know, share them. They might, you know, help. One, seek help. I know seeking help is like, I don't know, it's always in the back of our heads, like nobody wants to do that, but seeking help could actually help. whether it be seeking out your coach, your counselor, your teammate, whoever you trust, basically. And if you don't trust anybody, like, my DMs are always open to talk. Like, I don't know, I don't want to say like I'm great with feedback or like stuff to say back, but I'm definitely a good listener. So if you ever don't have anyone to talk to, like, you can always send me a message and I'll definitely reply. Even like seeking professional help is definitely something that maybe if it's getting that bad that you might want to look into. Two, I feel like acknowledging the issue would be, good. But I feel like we all have some healing to do, so I feel like if you acknowledge what's actually hurt or broken in you or what's bothering you, if you acknowledge what it is, it'll be easier to tackle it, if that makes sense. And once you like acknowledge what it is, then you can start like trying to brainstorm some things like that'll actually help the problem or the issue. Understand, well, this is for everybody, understand that mental health comes before athletics, your sports, whatever. Understand that your life is more important than your sport, and if you're over here killing yourself just so you can produce, that's not okay. It's definitely okay to take a mental day just so you can be sane. Like, it is okay. And I'm pretty sure if you tell your coach or whomever that you just need a day for yourself, your mental health, that it will be okay. And if it's not okay, then you definitely need to talk to somebody higher up, because they're playing with your life and that's not okay. Meditating is something that I've been practicing or doing, and I'm still getting the hang of it because my thoughts like to roam around, but it's definitely something that I feel like everybody should try, at least try. It's definitely been, helping me calm my thoughts and like actually be present in the moment, and it's been really good. Like, it's been making me just tranquil. So I definitely think that everybody, even if you don't have bad mental health, even if you're just okay, you should definitely still try it. It's a great thing to do. Just work into your everyday routine. Train your mind. I've definitely been doing that. Try to feed yourself more positive things than negative things. It's definitely easy to just turn negative really quick, but once you like train your mind to actually like try to see things from a different perspective, or like try to feed yourself positive things, it becomes more easy and it makes you definitely more happier. So I definitely recommend that, just trying to train your mind. I don't know, I feel like I should do a different video like on like how I do these things and blah blah, but if whoever wants to know, you could just let me know. Also, reading. I've been reading like maybe 4 or 5 different books. They're not done yet. I've been reading them in rotation, but they're self-help books or like self-care books, and I definitely recommend like looking at books in that area, because they have definitely been a big eye-opener to me, and a big they've been changing my mindset and my perspective on how I look at certain things. So I definitely recommend reading. To coaches, mental health should be just as important as strength and conditioning, treatment, and rehab. Just like they stress, oh, you need to go to you need to go to the training room, make sure your body is fine, I feel like there should be more effort in making sure athletes' mental health is just as strong and just as good. There are definitely resources within athletics for mental health, but I just feel like they're not utilized as much because everybody just, I don't know, just like this, like I said, the stigma, it just makes it look, yeah, I'm not gonna use it. Like, nobody really, I feel like a lot of people don't really feel comfortable using the things that are out there for us, because just the looks on it. Like, I feel like if coaches or like athletics made mental health more of a normal thing talked about or like worked on, that there will be so much improvement, and everybody would like feel comfortable using it. Just like you have a training room, you go in there, you get treatment, make sure your body is fine. There should be like something similar for mental health, like your mental. Like at my school, we have counselors or therapists or whatever, but I just feel like there needs to be something regarding us working on our mental, you know. It shouldn't just all be about physical, because a lot of the time they say our sport is 80% mental, but we don't train like that. We don't train according to that. Like, yes, of course we need to do our workouts, we need to lift, we need to do all that, but we just leave out the mental. Like, that aspect is nowhere in training, and I just feel like that's something that needs to be implemented in a lot of, you know, places, sports, whatever. I can't really talk for everybody. Like, your school may have, or your school, your program or whatever may have a lot for mental health, but I'm just talking like from what I've seen at different universities, or like my own, or like different programs, AAU programs, all that. Like, I just feel like it's just something that needs to be made everywhere, no matter how young you are or how old you are. It doesn't matter. I just feel like it just needs to be in sports in general, like, because mental health is that important. I just encourage everybody to work on themselves, because you won't be able to maximize your talent if you're getting in your own way, and I know that personally, and that's just something that I've been working on. So just, like, you know, just try to work on yourself, take it day by day. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's definitely a work in progress, and yeah, just keep going, you know. If nobody else is clapping for you, be your biggest supporter. Take things little by little. So, yeah, that's the end of this video. If you're still here watching, thank you so much. Remember, if you ever need anyone to talk to, my DMs are open. For real, like, don't be scared. I'm not mean or anything. Like, we could just talk. If you just want to talk, we could just talk. Like, but if you just need somebody to vent to, hey, I'm here as well. Like, yeah. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that you gained something from this, and yeah.